Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday.
Hi there.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hello. Hello again, Angela. Sue's in the car. Amy's outside. Ooh, solid crew tonight. How's everybody's week going so far?
Pretty good. It's nice and like
You went on mute. You started talking and
sorry.
went on mute 3 seconds in.
Yeah, it's I'm on my phone again because, my Chromebook is still acting up, so but it's perfect weather here. Like just 70 degrees and fantastic. Like super happy getting to go outside and go on a walk.
I love it. Outside walk. It's a little toasty, but we took the doggy for a walk just now. He got his walk in. Everybody else's night's going good. Sue, where are you going? She's focused. Why she look like she had the drive-through? I'm trying to zoom in on her. She is. Now I'm going to be honed in on whatever type of bag comes through that window.
She's getting whatever Matt ate, Chick-fil-A
She's on
and
that Chick-fil-A jam now.
Chipotle, was that what it was?
Oh my gosh. I'm so in tune to that little window right now. I'm not focused on anything else. If I see like a McDonald's bag come through there, we're having words.
I'm getting caught up on podcasts and I just heard that about the Chipotle. So he legit lost all that weight eating like the same things.
Yeah. It worked within his macros and he stuck along with it.
So did he just like drink tons and tons of water because of the I find the sodium in that stuff is so,
A
you know,
hundred, a
so
hundred
high.
percent. It's going to be loaded in sodium, but it's crazy because he had lost, I want to say it was like 40 before or something like that over the course of 9 or 12 months and then hit a wall and then just adjusting the numbers. He went the like extra 30 that he lost. I lost my chick, my, oh, where'd she go? She's still, what is going on in this drive through, Sue? She got us on mute. Angie, you're in charge. She knows I'm talking to her now. She knows she's busted. She disappeared. She calls me off. She ain't talking to no neighbor. That was a drive-through window. I could tell. I know that look. She's gonna send me a nasty message after this. It's okay. I'm okay being judged. I know a couple people talked about, but actually, you know what? Let me see. Jenny, how's your recovery going?
Pretty good. I got cleared to run without my splint on. I just finished running, so
You must be
yeah, I can't really move my wrists at all, but I'm starting PT on Thursday, so woohoo.
10 levels of stress down, being able
Yeah.
to run without
Yeah, that thing was so annoying. I mean, I still have to wear it, but I can run without it and do some stuff. He said if I'm sitting on the couch and like not really doing anything, and he was like, well, "You probably don't sit on the couch." I was like, "No, I sit on the couch sometimes."
Oh, you don't give me that. I don't get that vibe from you that you're a sit around type of person.
Not that much, but sometimes. So he said I can not wear it when I'm not really moving around. So
All
except for
right. All right.
running. But yeah, but still no lifting.
What's the timeline looking
He
like
said
now?
I have to go back in 6 weeks. So like PT now is just like working on range of motion, and then the after 6 weeks I can start working on strength. So like he said in 6 weeks I could start with physical therapy doing some like weights, but he said no like deadlifts or anything that would and no cleans, like nothing like this for like
Oh,
six.
no cleans. Definitely no cleans.
Yeah. But he said weights probably in another 6 weeks from now I can start doing. So
It's right around the corner. Doesn't feel like it, but
yeah.
it's
But I like
close.
the leg workouts. That's been good.
I keep beating up your legs then.
Yeah, I like it.
You're gonna
But
have super toned legs by the end of the next 6 weeks.
that's okay. I don't mind.
Get you stronger fast. At least you can run again though, because that
Yeah.
had to be torture.
It was stressful. I'm so slow now, though. I only didn't run for 4 weeks, but I was like, as soon as I started running again, I was like dying. I wasn't dying, but I was like, I felt so slow. I mean, I just felt like I lost a lot of fitness, but it's coming back.
Cardio capacity drops a lot faster than the lifting portion. Now, yours might be a little different because you've got, like, if you were to just take 8 weeks off everything completely, the cardio would take you longer to rebuild muscle memory. It would be so much easier to come back on the lifting. Now, would I say maybe start deadlifting heavy weight, knowing that you've got a delicate wrist? Probably not. But when you're fully cleared, that'll come back so much easier. The cardio makes you're gonna have to work harder.
Yeah, I was a little bummed, but it's okay. I ran 9 miles on Saturday, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, it was so sad. I was like, this is so hard. But I did it. So
I'm gonna sneeze. Oh no, maybe not. But at least you got out there. I knew it was coming.
Bless you.
Thank you. At least you're back. At least you're back in the game. I talked a little bit with Miss Angela yesterday, and Angela wanted, chat about, and a couple other people, motivation, consistency, how to get how to get through the slump and just stay on track. Angela, what was your big problem right now because of consistency? Like what's causing the slump, if you don't mind
I
sharing with the
mean,
crew?
for me, there's a couple of things, and like I told Tom yesterday, like I know my nutrition is just like terrible right now, but for me, it's not really having a goal. Like I'm just kind of aimlessly floating and have no idea what I want to do, and like no like real plans. So he and I'd come up with kind of like a weight goal this time around since I don't have like I finished the half marathon and all of that. So just kind of figuring out what that next step looks like.
Does anyone else not have a clear goal right now? Like anything that you're personally working towards, like a target. For most of y'all, I know it's going to be like, okay, I've got this race on this date, so that's the next goal, and that kind of sets up the training cycle. Does anybody not have just anything on the calendar where they're like, okay, I got to be ready for this?
My stuff isn't
Me.
until like late fall. So right now it's just kind of like in a slump. Like I know mentally like I don't have to be on top of my training, which is kind of hard.
I get it. I get it. The off season and a very, very divisive, is that the word I'm looking for? But polarizing athlete. One of my favorite quotes from him, I think it's Conor McGregor, which he's a bit of a lunatic and has made very poor personal life choices since his UFC career. Says he never has to get ready because he stays ready. So he's always tries to be 5 days out from his next fight. Always just staying prepared. But yeah, if you don't have anything on the schedule, you kind of go into that lull. I have nothing on the schedule until wine and dine. And it's kind of like
Same.
same.
Hmm.
So it's like, yeah, all right. I can take off till the summer and kind of relax until Coach Tom throws me into another transformation challenge and use that as my kickoff for the fall training. Or I can keep moving forward on the goals. So, like Angela said, she's not having a specific goal, not having a current specific goal is really that kind of just messes with the brain a little more than anything else. So I was like, set some kind of goal. Like anything you look on, staying motivated, any books you read, it's always like number one, setting clear and realistic goals. Like we talked about SMART goals before, but setting clear and realistic goals just to stay on track. And Angela came out with one number, a scale number, and I pointed out, well, that scale number's a bit of ways. So we're further down the line from that scale number. What if we said 5 pounds for the month of May 5 pounds for the month of June. And even if you don't hit it, but you're still moving towards it, it's still attainable. So just setting miniature goals. I can't tell you how many times I get a call from somebody, and they are 10 to 15 years outside of any physical activity. They're not doing runs. Somebody referred them to me, and I'm not doing anything at all currently. I'm 120 pounds away from my goal, and I wanna lose 120 pounds. There's like 30 checkpoints we need to make before you lose 120 pounds. Let's start with the first five, keep it realistic, and start building some momentum. If you're looking for 120 pounds, even losing 10, you're like, holy shit, this sucks. I have 110 pounds to go. It seems so far off, but if you say, all right, the first five gets me there, gets me moving in the right direction, then I got 10. And if we could do that for 4 months consistently, I'm down 20, and that 100 is close to becoming, I need to lose single digit numbers now. And then we could break that up into quarters. And all right, 25 pounds. All right, and I've moved towards 50% from my 50 pounds from my start weight. And it's all how you just break it down and just set the check marks. I am very guilty of not having any, like, I knew this was going to happen too. I said, springtime's going to hit. April is the busiest month of my life. I need something to keep me consistent. So I worked on the SMART goals for when I get back from vacation. And I was like, all right, I'm going to revamp my training plan, focus a little bit more on the running, a little bit more on the running, and shift my workouts to a more performance and athletic base. So not so much just strength, not so much, aesthetic, but just overall feeling good. That's going to be my current goal for like the next 3 to 4 months before I really dive into, that fun wine and dine into dopey training cycle. But start small with the goals and gradually increase the intensity. Start with little wins and take your long-term goal, break it into multiple short terms. This quarter or this half of the year, it's 120 pounds. I'd like to lose. And even if you look at 120 pounds, break it into in a half, 60 pounds. 60 pounds over 6 months is still a lot of weight to lose. 10 pounds. That would be a very aggressive cut to put somebody in. And somebody like that who's got that to lose, 120 to lose, there's probably a lot of micro and macro problems, issues that we have to fix to even get moving in the right direction. It's like you don't get that far off from where you want to be without there being some things to tune up. But if you come in and say, I'm up 120, I've done no physical activity for 10 to 15 years, what the hell do I do to get moving in the right direction? Well, if I give you a 5 day a week gym plan and 3 days a week cardio and hit these exact macros, I'm just going to set you up for failure. How can we start small and look at it like that when you're breaking down the calendar? All right, back on consistency. I know, Alex, you were struggling to find some consistency, right? You're driving again, aren't you? Are you in a passenger seat? She's got the headphones on, but I know she's listening to me. She was struggling to find some consistency. And
Sorry.
no, you're fine. You're in the passenger seat, right? What you got your government shirt on. Oh, we official right here.
Yeah, I'm almost back to work and then I'll be heading home. But figured I could at least listen for a bit.
You're good. But she came in like, between work, the drive to the gym, the getting up early, getting over there. Oh shit. When Alex can actually get to the gym during her day, it's an absolute. What's your gym like when you finally get there?
It's packed. So if I don't get there by a certain time, I'm not getting any free weights or anything. I'm pretty much kind of SOL until either it's emptied out and like an hour, 2 hours later, or I just basically kind of scramble here and there where I can get any availability.
So what could be a 45-minute to an hour workout ends up taking her, 2 hours just based on getting the equipment at the gym based on when she could go. I'm like, all right, that means the workout's kind of becoming a barrier. There's a barrier there based on your time. How can we better utilize the time? I revamped all of her workouts so that they're 30 minutes long, and we took some extra stuff out, and now we've got 30-minute workouts that I hope have been more manageable this week for you with the time.
Well, no, because I went out on Saturday and then Sunday didn't stop raining. And then I got to work yesterday and I was halfway done with one report when they called me and said, "Hey, can you go out tomorrow again? You got to leave by 6 a.m. because it's a 2.5 hour drive." And I've been crawling under a pickup truck all day and now I'm getting home. So,
All right. All right. You've had a day. Well, I hope when you do get into the 30-minute workouts, they're a little more manageable. And then it was just like, well, what if she does get the full hour? Well, we built out the plan, revamped it for 30 minutes. If you do, that's a good time. Just get some treadmill walking in. Like she's sitting in the car now. She mentioned going back to the office. Utilize that extra 30 minutes instead of saying, all right, I got my 30 minutes in and now I'm done. If you got an extra 20 to 30, walk on the treadmill, run on the treadmill, keep yourself moving a little bit. But we got to figure out how to make it, manageable for your life and your schedule. I've worked that issue with 3 people recently who are just going through crazy time constraints that they did not have 6 months ago, where it's like, I can manage 30 minutes. Can we figure this out? And I'm like, absolutely. And when I'm programming the exercise, I could even I'm going to make a 15-minute on-demand library that you can plug and play. And you could just, if you only got 15 minutes, it's good to, just get the body moving. And I'm going to put the more bang for your buck stuff in that 15 minutes. So when I'm talking bang for the buck, I mentioned this before, compound exercises, things that hit multiple muscle groups. So it drives me crazy when I see the younger generation. I'm going to age myself a little. See the younger generation in the gym and they spend like an hour on biceps because it's such a small muscle group. It doesn't need that much stimulation and that much, it's just overworking. And unless you're eating a ton of calories and you're probably taking some other stuff in, you're not going to be able to recover your arms fast enough to support an hour worth of bicep work. Whereas, all right, 15 minutes bang for your buck. I know that the deadlifts hit the hamstrings, the glutes, the core, the quads get a little in the mix, the calves are in the mix, the back, the erector spinae, all that fun stuff. The rear delt it is probably the most bang for your buck exercise out there. So let's throw those in. And if you get, and I don't know what happened 2 weeks ago. Oh, my sister was in town. My sister was in town with them little monsters, and they were chewing up my schedule and keeping me at Disney until, all hours. And I ended up sleeping in, which I don't normally do. That meant getting to the gym at like 7 a.m. and having to be out in the world by like showered and ready by 9. And when I arrived to the gym, I'm like, oh God, I'm doing laps around the parking lot. This is not a good sign. And I mentally went in with this piss poor attitude where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to deal with all these people just doing the selfie thing and sitting on their phones and texting. One guy, I watched him on the machine for 20 minutes just on the phone, didn't do a single set. I'm like, I could have gotten 4 sets in, in 6 minutes. And this guy's just having a conversation on the phone, like doing his work thing. And I went in with the wrong attitude and I hit, so it was like, I got maybe 30 minutes in here in this chaos before my stress gets me. Hit my deadlifts, hit my bench press, all like the bang for your buck type of exercises and stack those up front. And I was like, I'm gonna just call it after 30 so I can go spend some time with the family while they're here and just hammered myself. And I'm like, I still got moving. And I knew I'm going to Disney with children. I got like 25,000 steps that day. So I felt good about it. Felt like it was a good recovery. Other things you could do, like if you're, feeling in a rut on certain things, is I get into a rut on running a lot because lifting for me is an enjoyable experience. Running is a mental battle with the 16-year-old, 15-year-old kid who got swept during the mile in gym class. Well, they didn't sweep you. They just had all the other kids watch you finish. And you're sitting there like beating yourself up, like, oh my God, they're a whole length of the track ahead of me. Everybody's waiting on me to go back inside. And I'm just, this kid walking. And I had this conversation this morning where I still battle those inner demons, even though I know I can do a sub 10-minute mile and I'm trying to get down to a 9-minute mile. Anytime I run, I have this internal dialogue that is not healthy. So if I get into that rut where I'm like, I don't want to run, I jump on a bike or something. Just mixing it up. I jump on the Stairmaster. I find the Stairmaster, as much as it is a devil, and I'm talking about the one that's like an escalator, not the little feet pump one. That thing is a devil. It will give you a killer workout, but I find that to be relaxing. I can break out a book on there or watch Hulu or Netflix and just, oh wow, 30 minutes went by and it just goes by quick and I don't have to think about it. I just keep going up because if I stop thinking about it too much, I'll fall off the stairs and that wouldn't be good. I'll be in the zone. So just finding things to like get out of that rut, experimenting with different things. I wish I've been hinting that for my birthday, I want some kind of bike because I want to just get out onto the road and bike a little more, but just trying to find some variety in the chaos. So making it enjoyable, you know, I know I work out, I'm more consistent on the runs when she's training for something. So it might cost me to sign her up for a race, but I know I'm going to be more consistent having a partner to do it with. And then like, I think the reason, another like just way to find enjoyment and variety is that, we got Melissa struggled to get back on plan after springtime, even though she's got a goal half in a couple weeks. It's finding some little things. Krista, you do a bunch of 5Ks. You're like, you stay no, you just did one at SeaWorld.
Yeah, yeah. Walked most of it, but that was just a weird thing where I had those two back to back. I hadn't had anything since December before that.
Yeah. I know Denise does that as well, where Denise, yourself is signed up for like every race between now and 2 years. She's driving too. Everybody's driving. Tuesday night's not good for y'all. There's that mute button. You're gonna find it.
I need to roll out because we're doing the race report.
Yo, how'd you get that? How'd you get the race report? You got 7 minutes. So Bob's just having you on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm great. He knows it. Here we go.
Tell him I said hello.
Sue, stop it.
What's she doing?
She's making mean gestures at my wonderfulness.
I
Sue,
just can't take all of the horn that you're tooting right now.
Yeah, I guess Bob liked our the race report I posted on Facebook and wants more details because we had a really good time.
tell him to save some time for me on Tuesday, May 6th.
No, it's all season.
Nope, I'm gonna get on there on Tuesday on May 6th.
All right, well, okay, that's fine. I don't think mine will.
Have you ever been on there before?
No.
Okay, well, they're just gonna talk for like 30 minutes before you say anything. They're always chit-chatting. They're a
Okay.
fun crew.
Okay.
Go
All right.
have fun.
That should be fun. And I've got to prep my husband
Mm.
because he's going to be on it with me.
This one refuses.
Oh,
Refuses.
sad. That's sad. Well, y'all listen this week. Maybe
All right.
we will sound dumb.
I'll listen Thursday morning.
All right. Okay. Bye, guys.
So where I was going with that, I said, Denise, you got like a ton of races coming up, right? Keeping something on the calendar is very helpful. And that's come from me who I don't have something on the calendar. So it's like mentally messing with me. Keeping something on the calendar and looking for another challenge. I've had with like registrations going on, a lot of one-on-one people that I never thought would say I want to do dopey are like, do you think this is attainable? And I'm like, if we start right now, if we start like dopey training season technically starts when is it June or July? The calendar for dopey training starts like June or July. But knowing where these particular people are at right now, it's like we need to start the pre-work now. We need to get hyper focused and dial in before any of that, before you have to settle into the other thing, because that dopey training is a big freaking commitment. It is three running days to start at the beginning, and then it ramps up to 4. And when it ramps up to 4 and it starts getting really serious, it's a total time sink. Like the amount of weekends, I have it up on here, but like, where is it? I have too many windows. But you get to those, it's open somewhere. You get to those weekends where it's like, all right, do an 11-mile run and or 11-mile walk and a 22-mile run. Dopey weekends already is exhausting. Oh, yeah, Sue, were you at the neighbor's house or were you getting drive-through?
So I was pulling up to my house just as I turned the Zoom call on because the realtor was at my house showing a house. So
Okay.
she's a bit chatty, and so she came to my window and she started talking to me about the earth, the sun, and the moon. So
Well,
that's why I left.
just so you're aware, if you decide to rewatch the first 5 minutes, I was very obsessed with finding out if you were in the drive-through,
I
and
was not. I was
and
not in the drive-thru. I was literally in front of my house because I couldn't come to my house until the realtor was done.
and we had a serious talk about how if McDonald's came through that window, that I was going to be putting you on blast and sitting you down in front of everybody.
Don't you worry, I know better. If it was McDonald's, I would have had the camera off.
Smart,
I'm good like
smart.
that.
So back on track. Just finding the next goal. Like, all right, I've talked about my goals. I've gone like 3 different directions on which way I want to go. A world major. I have a friend right now who is trying to convince me to do a charity on New York. He's like, I can get you in. You're good. That could be my next goal. Or shifting gears into an Ironman. The swimming part, even though it's short distance, is just terrifying to me because I'm not a strong swimmer. That is not my game. I could bike all day. I could get through the run and be golden, but that, and then also, I get into they move me up in age class on Friday, so I could do a men's fitness competition. Don't worry, I will not do the Speedo one. It, it will be the board shorts. It will be the board shorts version. That's more how my physique is built. I had to inform my wife that. She goes, "Will you have to wear the little Speedo if you do that?" Like, no, I'm board shorts build. Even though I have good legs, I'm just not at that Speedo bodybuilder look. But
Oh,
that's a whole nother thing. So just having one of those, and I think I'll probably make my decision while we're on vacay next week, where I'll be like, all right, this is gonna be the next one. I'll do some research while I'm on there, relaxing, and then just putting it on the calendar. So just find things that you constantly have some kind of goal, and then tie the health and fitness goals to that. You know, like that person I said calls me and says I'm 120 pounds overweight and I want to do my first half marathon. All right, those two tie together because if we can get you down to only being 100 pounds over from your goal, you're going to feel better. If we can get you down to 80 over your goal, that run's going to come even easier. And the closer and closer you get, those two just they go together. Another thing we'll call on put Sue on blast too, accountability partner. So are you in season still checking in with each other, Sue?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Not more about the steps now than anything else, but we are checking in.
But you've gotten your steps how many nights out of how many nights?
All but one.
All but one. So
And the one I missed by 300 steps. I'm so mad at myself. So I did 9,700 steps that day, and I missed the 300, and I was like, mother. Oh.
that's like 4 laps around the kitchen.
Yeah, listen, I've been packing a lot. I sat on the couch and I was like, I'll get up and do my last 300 steps. And I passed out. So it is what it is. I'm still proud of myself. No matter what happens, I'm still proud of myself because I'm getting my 10,000 steps in every day. And I'm pretty sure I'm losing weight from it. So I'll take it.
I'll take that. 95, 65. So that means I do have to get in a walk at some point.
It's hard. I mean, like I'm at 5,500 steps. I've been walking at lunch now too to get more steps in, just to get these steps.
The
So
good news is you don't have to be perfect. Like if you're seeing results from it and you still have a miss or you still have days where it's kind of short, it's still working.
I think what I've decided to do is after this challenge is over, I don't think I'm going to try for 10,000 steps, but I might try for maybe like 7,500. I feel like that's a little bit more attainable with the minimal steps I get during the day to try for.
And it's all about building habits. That's the other thing. Like when you're trying to either get motivated or stay consistent, I have so many freaking days of the week where I am not motivated and I'm not there. I've just made it such a habit. Like I got back from the gym at 7:30 this morning and I packed my bag for tomorrow. I like got my gym bag ready. It was left at the door. Everything's all good to go. My clothes were laid out before 8 a.m. this morning, like when I showered. I'm just like, because if they're out, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna stick to the habit. And I know I'm giving outside of 3 runs on the cruise, I'm giving my body a full week of rest. Full week of rest before I dive into the next phase. And I'm just doing 3 runs to stay consistent with that because I know I'm not going to have an issue jumping back into the lifting, but I want the body to heal and recover. But finding an accountability partner. So you and Season keep each other accountable. She's texting you. She's not going to get her steps in tonight.
Even more so, I have another accountability group with a bunch of women from different places. And because it's a Marco Polo group, so we all send each other videos. Because I've been posting, like putting in the video that I've been getting my 10,000 steps in every day, I have now these women are starting to try and get their 10,000 steps in every day. So it's a chain reaction.
It was a free challenge. You could have just invited them to join the challenge in the Facebook group. Totally could have had them come on in.
You know what? I should, because the one girl that I was telling you about on our one-on-one, she was like, "That's the tutu guy." So I could probably add her.
Totally off topic. I had that happen with one of the guys that I work with in the day-to-day. His wife is a teacher, and I guess she teaches like 15-year-old kids. And he was like, I ran a half marathon the other day, and there was this big giant guy running shirtless. And she was like, I think I know him. What was he wearing? And the kid was like, oddly enough, he was wearing a tutu. And she goes, I do know him. And he was like, no, there's thousands of guys there. And she pulled up my Instagram. And she's like, and the kid was like, oh my God, I started going to the gym. Can you tell him? And that made my day. That made my day. It's like, good. Got somebody motivated to keep going.
Coach, can I tell you about my princess 2 years ago? Like, I know it's off topic, but I need
Do
to
it.
tell you this, okay? So my dad and I were running Princess, and we were I think in the last 2 miles or something. And I hear, "Don't worry, guys, tomorrow is upper body day." And I'm like, I turn around and I see 2 guys in a tutu without shirts on running, and I started laughing. And they're like, "Today is leg day." Or so I swear, I think it was you. And so my dad and I are cackling, like and watching you guys run all this, and they're like, they're going to the gym tomorrow. So,
When we first started doing that, there was a couple people just heckling, making funny jokes, and we're like, we're not the type to get offended by anything, and we're just like, all right, let's roll with it. Let's try to keep people amused on the course because it's like a lot of people are dying out there, and
I was dying by that point. I was.
yeah, a lot. So if you could just, my whole goal anytime I'm on that course is if I can bring a smile to somebody's face that's going through that mental battle I did during the mile. And I saw that you went through the psychological scarring from the mile.
Yeah.
And that just takes my mind off it. I stop. We've talked before that I am mental gymnastics when I'm doing these, where I'm like, okay, I'm at 0.7 now. on the 10 miler. That means 9.3 to go. I did 6.1 yesterday and I did 3.1. So it's just like doing the 10K again and doing the 5K again. And I'm like, it's just constant mental math for me. So if I'm messing with people, I stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then I get to enjoy the run. That's a funny story though.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see what's on that drawing. Is it like a turtle?
Behind me?
Yeah.
Oh, here, I'll turn the lights on. My son is into Pokemon. So
That's
you're
what I
not
thought it
wrong.
was. So
It's Squirtle.
it's a
Yeah.
Squirtle.
And he drew, I think, Eevee, and this was Vaporeon. I don't remember what that is. But yeah, he's been into drawing Pokemon.
Awesome. I support it. I support it. Other things to stay consistent. So nutrition's a hard one to stay consistent on. Nutrition's definitely, I'll say like once you get in the habit of like a workout routine and following along, that's why I love like the app because there's little like I get little motivators that just tell me it would be so hard for me to drop the ball on my fitness journey just because I wake up and I open the app and I get messages like this, like, let me find a good one. Jenny completed a 2.52-mile run 41 minutes ago. I'm like, Jenny's out there getting the work. I got to get myself out there and doing the work. Ryan, hit a new weight goal. Boom. Hit a new low on his weight. I get like all the PR notifications. So that kind of drives me where I'm looking like, okay, what can I try to grab a PR on today just so I get that win on the days that I'm not motivated. And nutrition harder because you don't see that payoff. You don't get that feedback as much right away. Yeah, I hit my macros, but I didn't lose a pound right away. And that could be so many different things. Did I gain, a half pound of muscle, lose a half pound of fat? That's a win on body composition, but you don't see it on that immediate feedback that the scale gives you. So with that, staying consistent there, the best thing that has worked for me is finding ways to just hit my numbers without stressing it and finding foods that fit within those numbers that give me enough variety, but not, like I'm not somebody who has to eat a different meal six meals a day and have to have them all have variety in it. I'm like, all right, I know we got those Amy Lou chicken burgers. So I was so bored of my Trader Joe's ones, and I'm like, all right, I get 20 grams of protein from this. That's an easy slot that in. So finding out all those numbers, and I plug it in at the beginning of the week. So I'll meal prep for the entire week and just plug it all in. Okay, this is what my day looks like. So if I eat that, and that gets me to my overall protein goal for the day. Now let's fill it in with some carbs. And that's literally how I make the little not the Tupperwares. I'm like, all right, I got protein enough that if I have these 4 during the day, I'll it in. I left just enough room for a protein at dinner. And tonight, usually she makes taco bowls and she was like, oh, I'm craving salmon. I'm craving a salmon bowl tonight instead. And I'm like, that's a wash. The taco bowl that I know she makes, I know that the package is 80 grams. I usually eat 2 of those. I usually eat half of the package. So that's 40 grams for me. The salmon is 20. Can you make me 2 slices? Boom. And I just hit it like the number's still there and I got a little variety in dinner. Just setting yourself up for success. Because I thought Sue didn't set herself up for success. I thought she was sitting in the drive-through line and she proved me wrong. I wouldn't blame her though, because
Just selling a house, Tom. Just selling a house.
she's just trying to sell the house. The hardest thing for me to learn about consistency was like self-compassion and giving myself a break. Me 7 or 8 years ago, no, I have to get up. I could be feeling like shit, and I'm like, I have to go up because I've made it a habit. I have to work out on Sunday. I have to work out on Saturday. I have to work out on Christmas Day. It was like just that no rest mentality. And a lot of motivational speakers that were big at the time preach that no days off. There's a guy, Eric Thomas, I've talked about before. That is his whole mantra, no days off. And Beyonce doesn't take a day off. 50 Cent doesn't take a day off. What, all these things. And it's like, body needs a rest day. Your brain needs a rest day. It's all right to have off days. So miss a workout and then get back on track. Last week, I had the two, Monday and Tuesday were shorter workouts. Monday or Tuesday was short workouts because my sister was in town. They left Tuesday night. So Wednesday, I got a good workout in. Thursday, I got a fairly decent workout in, and then, drove to South Florida and dealt with some chaos. Pregnant people making me have to cover. Don't tell them I said that. Hopefully nobody knows my people down there. But I went down there, and then Friday I had the biggest flipping debacle of a workout. They just opened a new studio, and I was in charge of training the people. So train the new coach. I said, you know what? I'm here. I might as well take a class, take a group fitness class, which I very rarely do, and get my cardio in that way. Slept in a hotel bed, got up at 4:30 in the morning to watch this new kid work, shadowed him at 5, shadowed him at 6:15. I said, I'll take the 8 a.m. class before I get on the road. And got on the treadmill, and my back started seizing up, and I was like, hotel bed did me wrong. Back just started to spasm, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll power walk. My legs started feeling funny. It's like, that's a little crampy. Let's not push it. So I jumped on the bike. I pedaled for like 5 minutes. I was like, this is good. I'm enjoying the bike. And then I started feeling that cramp again. And I must have been super dehydrated from the travel and all that other shit. I got off the bike. My calves both locked up. I just felt them squeeze, and it fired up to inside of my leg, like inside of my upper thigh. I'm feeling it in there, and I'm like, oh God, this is so embarrassing because I'm like the guy that trained this young kid, and I'm just flopping around like an idiot in his class, his like third class on the microphone. And it was like just trying to figure out how to work through the exercises. But Friday was a mess of a workout. And then I just called that one a wash, but at least I was moving a little bit. And then Saturday and Sunday, it was anniversary weekend. So I said, I'm going to stay out of the gym. I'm going to stay. We did a lot of walking, but there was no exercise. And Monday, I just got slammed with Monday, and I took that day off. I was like, all right, today just back on track. And I got back on track this morning, but learning to give yourself that grace. It's like, life is not perfect ever. Sue is going through a move. She's going through, did you tell your job you're leaving yet? They know? No, she don't have a job. She's going into work every day. Nobody knows she's got one foot out the door. And then she's probably going to end up moving to Orlando like 6 months later if her husband gets his way. Like, is your life perfect right now? Probably not.
Absolutely not. But I'm getting my 10,000 steps in.
You still got all your steps in, yeah. So it's finding ways to like be consistent through all the chaos and realize like it's okay if you miss one workout. No one's gonna die. That was the hardest thing for me to retrain my brain on. Is that not gonna, it's not gonna be end of world. I work with somebody else, like other just random things you can do. I work with somebody else, and she's like the sweetest person, but I could pull up she is a spreadsheet person. Anybody else like a tracker? I thought like me tracking things was crazy. She tracks like a hawk. And on her spreadsheet, she has planned out every 10-pound marker until she gets to her ideal goal. And every 10 pounds, she has a prize listed next to it. And she rewards herself. And I was like, oh my God, you got a new phone case. And she goes, yep, hit my goal. You didn't see it? And I was like, I didn't get the notification this morning, but she had the phone case ready because she knew she was on track to hit it. Like, all right, I'm just rewarding myself along the journey, and her rewards get even better as things progress, as she gets closer to the goal. Just finding ways to just keep yourself going. I don't recommend setting all right, my fitness goal is, and this is from years of watching men and women in the competitive scene reward themselves after they do a competition with boxes of donuts and whole pizzas. There's just something mentally off there where I see somebody starve themselves and overwork for 6 months and then just scarf down 2 pies like I've been starving and I hit my goal and I did it. I don't think the food motivator is good, but like having a little, all right, I can have a little extra reward. I can have a little treat because that was good this week. It gets a little sticky and creates little food headaches, little food trauma and bad relationships with food. What else do I got? I'm trying to think.
What about with like motivation with like staying on like the macros and stuff? Because that's like more my problem. I don't have a problem with like motivation with exercise or anything, but like I am a person who does get bored with like eating the same thing and like I don't, it just gets annoying to me. But and I'm not very good at prepping my meals either. So like
I don't like to prep.
it's just I like it if someone else does it for me. But
All right.
yeah, my husband said you have a husband. But he probably would do it if I asked him to, but I wouldn't ask him to do that. But any like suggestions for that part?
For you, where you don't have a far off number, right? Like and
Not anymore. Yeah.
we got you to that point where you're not miles and miles away from your goal. So
No.
shifting into a more intuitive approach using the same principles, okay, a palm full of protein. I just finished something I think will help. I was going to email it. I was going to wait to email it, but I can actually fire it out probably tonight. So keep an eye. But it's just inside, it's got a little intuitive eating type of guide where it's like, all right, a palm full of protein. Do I have it still open on my desktop? Where you can focus on that. And it takes the constant monitoring and tracking out. And then making sure you're still fueling for your goal. You're going to be running more now. So maybe, and I feel like you're going to end up running a lot, being that you can run now and you can't lift as much. So like you did was it 9 miler? Making sure to follow those same principles that we're like looking at, like, all right, I need to load up on carbs a little more on Friday because I know I'm going to go into that long run. And then just staying away from what might be trigger foods. I feel like you don't have a lot. You're not a particularly unhealthy eater, in my experience.
Yeah, I mean, not usually, but I like candy. And I was sitting here eating jelly beans while we were on this call, so it does happen.
Were they left over from Easter?
Yeah. Yeah. There's an Easter basket sitting right here. And I was just like, let me just get some jelly beans while we're on, because I'm hungry. But anyways.
And then when, going back to one of the first thing I said on here, staying ready so you don't have to get ready. So keeping an eye on where the scale is. So you're in a good position now where you can afford to get a little looser and say, all right, I'm gonna have the jelly beans, but set yourself like a red flag type of number. We know you can lose 5 pounds. So if throwing a random number out there, let's say you're 140, 145 is like your red flag type number. Oh man, I've been loosening things up a little too much. That's when I tighten things up. I personally do that when I'm not full bore on tracking. So I will set, all right, I'm 210 now. If it goes up to 215, I'm having a little too much fun and I need to reel things in, and kind of get back on track, with everything. What else? What else? Really, really that, like making sure you don't go too far down the opposite end of the spectrum based on how far and I think you know that because you've come far. Like, no, I don't want to lose all that work I put in. So having that, let's raise the yellow flag, let's raise the red flag and turn it back around again. And then making sure like, all right, what is good in nutrition? Maybe not the jelly beans aren't so fully nutritious, but let's focus on foods that do benefit me. What foods help my digestion? What foods give me more energy? What foods do I know improve muscle and bone strength? Okay, we know protein's good there. I'm going to make sure I keep getting my protein in. Well, foods help me live longer. It's like another good question to ask. Like eating Reese's peanut butter cups every day does not probably help me live longer, but they're tasty every once in a while. What foods are good for blood pressure and reducing the risk of heart disease and strengthening my immune system. And then making sure to incorporate those because you don't have to be crazy on the other things. Your focus should 100% be on health and feeling good right now. Like, and also like, if I were you and I'm going through that, I have a good friend in the gym that him and I just share a lot of the same thoughts on nutrition and he tore his pec muscle. So really, really ugly injury there and a long recovery. But he was like, I revamped my entire diet to anything that helped with recovery. If I was eating, he was eating 220 grams of protein a day prior, and he upped it to 320 because he just wanted to do anything he possibly could to accelerate healing. Don't worry, he's a little bigger than you. So but he's trying to repair that muscle after the surgery. So he bumped things up a notch. So you can look at it that way. And I'll share more fun recipes too to bring a little variety into your diet journey. That kind of any of those kind of help? Put down the jelly beans, Jenny.
I moved the basket away. Yeah, no, thank you. That's helpful.
All right, let me see what I missed in the chat. Adam wants me to tell you that I'm marathon training to go on vacation in Colorado. That doesn't sound like a marathon. Your husband has been trying to get me to run with him. They live very close to me, and her husband has been trying to get me to run with him since before springtime. And this man runs like a 5-minute mile. So I'm not going to slow him down. I was right. I'm headed out, going to meet up some ladies, do a trail run. Oh, I hope you enjoyed the trail run. Any part of Ironman is terrifying. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks for getting me on board with that. Oh, she left too. They're all heading out to get their runs in. Let me see if I can find my little guide I made. Boom, boom, boom. I want to make sure I share that. I will throw that in. I could put it in the chat too, but I'm going to email it to everybody. Where are you? I thought I downloaded you. Oh, no. I didn't download yet. But I made a little guide. And this one is to help meal prep with no stress. So how to take the stress out of meal prepping and food guide, all that fun stuff. If you want honesty, I bring the wife in on the design stuff, so I'm not the one that makes them all pretty. This is her creative outlet. I do the fun writing stuff, and she adds in all that other stuff and makes it pretty because I'm not good with the fonts and making things beautiful. But I will share that. I did put some meal prep recipe ideas in there too for you, Jenny. So that should help. There it is. That's what I was looking for. I always forget these measurements, even though I use them on a regular basis. Protein serving size, about the size of your palm. Vegetables, a fist. A cupped palm for starchy carbs, and a thumb for oil, fats, and nuts. That's in there. So you could just look at that when I shoot it out. I'll try to remember to do that when we get off here. Who else has something? I got 5 more minutes, unless she's done. Sue, there we go. I get bored with food. I've been finding some high protein meals between IG and TikTok. Half of my pics are screenshots of recipes. I would do so much more of that. Every time I've tried to do like a recipe thing on IG or TikTok, it comes out so crazy. I don't know how people like make it so beautiful looking, but
I love this one girl, Michaela Fitness, I think she's on TikTok and Instagram. But what I love about her is that all her meals, they're single serve that you can make multiples of, which I really like. So like if you're looking for hi, if you're looking for like single serve meals, I will. She had some really good stuff on her Instagram.
so are they quick to make?
Yeah, they are. They're really quick to make. Like she makes like quick egg scrambles. I made actually this one I had to bake. It was like a kind of like a French toast. It was low calorie bread, diced apple. It was protein milk with egg beaters. And then you made a crumble, which I used like monk fruit sweetener. It was flour and something else. And you put the crumble on top and you baked it for like 20 minutes in the oven. I had like 5 Pyrex dishes. I made five of them for the week and I had breakfast for the whole week and it was delicious. It was tasty. Like I'm a sweet person. So I really like sweets. And this kind of gave like a French toast kind of vibe. Yeah, I think that's her, Michaela Thomas. I think so.
All right. The hell yeah, like finding ways to make the boring meals healthy is or the boring meals tasty is an art. Great plant-based recipes. I'll have to look at that too. But
I'm just hopping back in here, but since you were talking about food, I meant to share with you guys a recipe last week before we went out of town. I made this Persian frittata that I make in the springtime. It's super good. It's a chef thing that I found years ago when I wrote a food column and I was looking for some like Easter themed, spring themed recipes and found that, and it is so freaking good and so different.
we just need to put you on the payroll to come up with recipes.
I'm busy. I've got races to run.
You got races to run. How did your
Never
race
took a
report
bad
go?
thing in her life, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
That's sweet. How was what?
How did your race report go?
It was good. I mean, I got a little rambly there, panicked a little bit, got a little nervous, but it was good.
Every time I go on there, and every time, hopefully Bob doesn't watch this replay. He goes, I don't know, we're very natural when we chat together. So he normally, if you're gonna talk to him, I guess, has a plan and like I'm gonna ask you this question, I'm gonna ask you that question. No, there's never a plan when I get on there. It's always like, I figure we'll just wing it. I'll bring you some questions and I'm like, can you guys give me a cue? Like if I'm rambling too much and
If you need to chop part of this out, then that's fine.
yeah, I do that. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know what my time constraint is. I don't know if you want me for a 5-minute spot or a 30-minute spot tonight. And
Fill it in. I can do it. It might not make sense, but I could do it.
and then she always expects, because I end up talking to them for 15 minutes before we record anything and 30 minutes after. And she's like, oh, you must have a long one on there tonight. And I'm like, it was about 6 minutes. 6 minutes of actual talking.
Oh, friends.
They're just like the most down to earth crew, and they're so easy to just chit chat with. Well, it's not like you guys. Like you guys are all super easy to talk to, and like we don't have any weird ones in the crew. Let me go through and make sure. Oh, Dale's here.
Thanks.
Just kidding, Dale.
I do have a specific question for you.
You
about
want
my
to
work
here?
About my workout tomorrow.
You want to send it to me, or you want to ask you here?
No, I can ask. It's the I got legs tomorrow, and it's the GHD reverse hyperextension.
You don't have
I don't
one?
have that now. So what do I substitute?
Yeah, if you don't have, if you guys ever see something that I programmed in and you don't have, let me know. That's my favorite piece of equipment, and not every gym has it, and it
Yeah.
pisses me off. It upsets me. I will tune that up as soon as we get off here. It'll be gone by tomorrow, before tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
Go destroy your legs.
Yeah,
Chris,
great.
I'll take a look. I got the notification, but I'll take a look as soon as we pop off here. The rest of y'all, I'll see you again Thursday. I'm going to talk superfoods. Superfoods on Thursday. And it's not acai. Have a good night, y'all.
Right.
Thanks.